Good morning. I have my protein coffee here because, again, it took me a long time to get started this morning. I'm on summer schedule. I'm Melinda. Welcome to Web of Stories. I am here to do sort of my weekly wrap up. Yes, it's toasty warm here. Last weekend I was complaining that it was cold, and now it's toasty warm. So, you know, I'm from the Pacific Northwest. I can't ever be happy with the weather. I just keep reminding myself, at least we don't have tornadoes. So anyway, I have these fans here. Tonight, the kids and I are going to go see a play put on by the youth theater, and my daughter's friends are in it. And we went last year. It's called Fairy Tale Idol. They wrote it themselves, and they have like fairy tale characters come out and sing songs. It's very cute. We went last year, and it's in this church that's not air conditioned. And last year on the same day, it was super hot. But also last summer, someone at our church turned 90 years old, and his wife and kids threw a big party for him, and it happened to fall on the hottest day of the year. So they had all these fans, and then they had a lot of the fans left over. So I snagged a couple, and you better believe me, we're taking the fans tonight because I don't want to be stuck in that church again without a fan, because it was packed, and it's hot, and there's no air conditioning. That's what you got going for you. Anyway, that's summer for you. Let me see what else is going on. Nothing much this week. My plot to get my kids dressed every day is not going well. It just isn't. Sometimes I'll get them dressed, and then 2 hours later they go and get back in their pajamas. And I think I'm just going to count that as a win. I can only do what I can do. I wanted to touch base on a couple things. One is I am sadly behind in watching videos. In fact, I currently have 68 videos to watch to catch up on. And so I've decided to be a little bit hard on myself here and give myself 7 days to watch a video. So once you click past 7 days, you go off and I'm sorry, I'm someone who wants to watch all of the videos because I want to see what everyone's up to, all the people that I follow really closely. And I'm just so far behind. So I have I'm sorry if I don't get your old video. Maybe I'll catch up on it on some other point, but I got to do what I got to do. Second of all, read Historical Fiction 2024. This is an event hosted by Shelley Swearingen, and I'm super excited about it if you've seen my other videos. But I haven't been able to read as much historical fiction as I wanted to because I had some other reading commitments this month. So it is a month-long reading event. I'm just gonna kind of hijack it though and make it a summer-long reading event. Sorry, Shelley, I'm hijacking your event. Just for myself. You know, I'm not saying everyone has to do this. I'm just saying for myself. The thing is, there's a bingo card. And if there's a bingo card, I have to get blackout. I can't, there's no option. It's like the Pals reading thing. I have to get blackout. And this only started on the 10th, so I'm doing okay. But, you know, you have to get blackout. And there's no way I can read enough books to get blackout in June with the other books that I have to read. So, it's just not going to happen. It's just going to be an all summer thing. Thank you, Shelley, for theming my summer for me. It's going to be a lot of historical fiction, not only historical fiction. So that is what's going on with me in my life. Nothing much going on. The kids are upstairs playing some video game. I don't know what. So you may hear yelling because they get very excited about it. But yeah, so let me go back here and pull up what I read. So I did read 3 books last week. I finished 3 books last week. I have a lot going. I think I have 13 books going. So I finished 3 books, one of which was A Fever in the Heartland by Timothy Egan, which I'm reading for the Booktube prize. So you will hear my thoughts about that in August when you see the video of how it ranks. So the other 2 books I read, this first one is Unseating James as the least surprising 5-star read ever. So yes, this was a 5-star for me. And it was the least surprising, even less surprising than James. And that is Know My Name by Chanel Miller. I read this as a buddy read with Kim at Kim's Book Life. Did I get that right? I always forget. I remember people's names, but then I forget their exact channel names. But we buddy read this and it was fantastic. And we're doing another buddy read now, along with Angela at Andy Hart's books for The Wives by Simone Gorrindo. I'm going to have so much to say about that next week, so stay tuned. But yeah, so if you don't know what this book is about, which I'm surprised because when I mention this, a lot of people are like, no, I don't know who that is. But then as soon as I say the name Brock Turner, they're like, oh yeah, I know who that is. And I really think that every woman who is probably at least, let's see, this is 2016, who's probably at least 20, probably 18 years old, guess, I'm just trying to age it out, knows who Brock Turner is. We just know who he is. He is shorthand now for you know what. And he deserves that. And I kind of battled with myself for a while, because on one hand, you don't want to give people extra notoriety, and lots of times that's why people don't name criminals the victimizers, but they'll name the victims, which, you know, and I do understand that. But in this particular case, I do think we need to name him, because he doesn't want to be remembered for this. He is currently in Dayton, Ohio, going by Alan Turner and hitting up bars. It's all over TikTok, or it was all over TikTok. I think he got found out and all that. But what he did was pretty horrible, and we all know what it was. If not, he basically, Chanel Miller went to a frat party at Stanford with her younger sister. She was out of college. She was like 24, 23, something like that. She was just out of college. And she went with her sister and her sister's friend to a frat party, and she had something to drink. And she even said at one point that she was past kind of her partying days, so she wasn't really aware of her tolerance at that level, but she got to the point where she blacked out. She's not the only person to ever black out at a frat party. Got news for you guys. You know, I'm not a big drinker. But I'm also not gonna cast aspersions on this. But anyway, so then the next thing we know is the Swedes. They're always called the Swedes. And they do have names, but I can't remember them. I just think of them as the Swedes. They were passing by on their bikes, and they saw this guy, like, sexually assaulting a passed out woman, and they stopped him, and Brock Turner ran away. They caught him, all this. The Swedes are the heroes. I mean, they're one of the heroes. Chanel Miller's also a hero, but the Swedes are heroes. And she even says that. She talks about them constantly about being heroes, because they're the ones who stepped up and said, no, this is not okay. But anyway, she woke up the next day in the hospital, like, not knowing anything that happened. And then, of course, all hell broke loose. This case is really famous because the crime was pretty egregious. The sort of language that was used around Brock Turner by a lot of people just made it even worse. Oh, but he's such a talented swimmer. Oh, but he has so much promise. And his father, in his statement, said things like, he just can't even enjoy a steak dinner anymore. I mean, it was insane. And then Brock Turner got a very, very light sentence for what he did. And she at the time was known as Emily Doe, because she wrote an impact statement that BuzzFeed then published. Is BuzzFeed even still a thing? I thought they went away. I don't know. Anyway, BuzzFeed published, and it went viral big time. And I mean, it was read on the floor of Congress. It was read, I mean, it was a big thing. And then she came forward with her name. No, my name's Chanel Miller, and this is her story. So I have said before that I have this thing sometimes with memoirs where, and this is a very bad term because it doesn't exactly encapsulate what I want to say, but it's as close as I can get. They fall victim of being hero of their own story. What I mean by that is they can do nothing wrong. Everything, they are the one who always does right. You know, there's a lack of personal culpability a lot of times in memoirs, and you see it more and more in the harder the subject matter is. And this is not by all means all memoirs. I just tend to see it in memoirs sometimes. This is definitely not one that falls into that trap. She is so self-aware of, and it's amazing because what she went through was really, really difficult. And there's a lot of like mental health issues just around that. And then you have all the public media on it and everything. And the fact that she is self-aware enough to write this book and write it as honestly as she did blows my mind. Plus, she is one heck of a writer. And part of me feels it's really sad that it took this for her to write a book, because she's an amazing writer and she could have written. And she's also apparently an artist. She does have a new book coming out completely unrelated to this. It is a middle grade chapter book, I think, but she also illustrates it. So just so you know, that's happening too. Yeah, so part of me is like really sad that she didn't know her own. I think she did, But I just think it's sad that this is what got her to write her first book. Y'all, I swear, I'm allergic to filming because as soon as I start filming, like my nose starts itching. There it goes again. Anyway, so loved this book. And it was so interesting because everyone said they cried through it. And I'm not someone who cries that hard in books. And it's always like the weirdest thing that will set me off crying. And in this one, it was this passage, which is so not even a thing compared to everything else in it. Like, and here it is. It's just, this is way at the end of the book. And she's talking about getting her contract for this book. And she says, after my 24th birthday, so she was like 22, 23 when the assault happened. After my 24th birthday, I took the train to New York to sign a contract for my first book, celebrating with a dessert of grilled peaches. I sent my mom a photo of the sun setting over the tall silver buildings. She responded, "You are mommy's dream." And now I'm tearing up again. That's what got me into this book. So yeah, loved this book. Everything that people say about this book is true. It's going to be really fun when I do my, I'm going to do it actually twice this year because I've had a fair number of 5 stars this year. I'm going to do it in July for the first part of the year. And then at the end where I do my read 1-star reviews of my 5-star books. It's going to be a little brutal when I read this one. I'm brutal for the person who wrote the 1-star review. But anyway, fantastic book. Newly crowned least surprising 5-star book ever. The other book I finished was a book of essays, and this also kind of works for Pride Month because the author is Mary Oliver, and this is Upstream by Mary Oliver, collection of essays. So I went in with super high expectations about this because it's Mary Oliver and she's a fantastic writer, and that holds true with this completely. There are just beautiful things in here. There is a story I would very much like to just read to you right now, but I can't because I'm not sure of copyright issues. But it has to do with, oh gosh, where is it? It's a very short one. It's even in the chapter I think called like 2 short ones or something, where she talks about a dog. And it's just, I'm still like getting over know my name there. It's just wonderful. And everything in this is wonderful. Loved this. Beautiful nature writing, all that. This is my issue with this book, and this has happened in other books. It has happened in 2 the Booktube books. I can talk about this because it was from the first round with both Underworld. Oh gosh, is that the name? The one by Susan Casey? It's gone out of my mind. And the Hilary Mantel, where there's a section in the middle where I'm like, why is this in here? And that happens in here too. There's a section in the middle where she's talking, the whole thing's about nature writing, except for this section in the middle where she starts talking about poets. It's great writing. Don't get me wrong. It is great writing. It's just, I don't know why it fits and I don't know why it's here. If that makes any sense. Also, something that's really cool is this book is, oh gosh, where is it? Hold on a sec. It's quoted in the epigraph of this book. Look at that, Upstream by Mary Oliver. And I'll read this epigraph. In the beginning, I was so young and such a stranger to myself, I hardly existed. I had to go out into the world and see it and bear it and react to it before I knew at all who I was, what I was, who I wanted to be. So this book is quoted in this book. So isn't that cool? Bookish serendipity. So anyway, I really recommend this. And I gave this an A. I just I'm like still kind of perplexed why that section in the middle is there. And that's just a thing. I think I noticed it once and now it just like, it really pops out to me when I see it. But definitely great essay collection. It's Mary Oliver. Of course it's lovely. You can see I tabbed a bunch in here that I just thought was really nice. And I wish I could read that dog story to you. It's in 2 short ones and it's called Ropes is the name of it. So if you ever get this one, read it. And it's not sad. It's not anything. It's just actually very delightful. Anyway, so that's what I read this week. I have quite a few books going and I should have a few books finished by next week. So stay tuned for that. In the video that came out today, which is Friday, which will be yesterday when you see this, I said that I will be rereading Ordinary Grace in August. If anyone would like to do a buddy read with me or a group read, let me know. I'm happy to do that. And then also in a video that you will see next week sometime, I said there were 2 books that if anyone wants to do a buddy read with me in July, please let me know because I'm happy to do it. One is Long Island by Comte Taubin, which is a sequel to Brooklyn by Comte Taubin. I am not sure if you need to have read Brooklyn. The other one is Rules of Civility by Amor Towles. So if anyone is interested in buddy reads for those in July, please let me know. Anywho, that is my week. So thank you very much. If you are in the Northern Hemisphere, stay cool, because it seems to be hot everywhere. If you're in the Southern Hemisphere, enjoy your winter, because people in the Northern Hemisphere right now are a little bit jealous of it. We just wanted a little bit cooler in a lot of places. As I said, I'm from the Pacific Northwest. We are weather wimps and we're never happy. It's either too hot, too cold, too rainy, too sunny. Just that's the way we are. Too bad. I mean, it's a good thing we don't have inclement weather, because it would blow our minds. It would. We wouldn't be able to handle it. Anyway, I'm babbling, so I'm going to stop. Thank you for spending this 15 minutes or so with me. If you'd like, subscribe, join my Discord. All of my socials are actually down below, so you can follow me on Instagram, wherever. And I will talk to y'all later. Thanks. Bye-bye.